Everybody, it's Christine with Cocoa Daisy, and I'm excited to share with you some fun stamping ideas using these stamp sets from the Chapters of September collection. That is our September collection. It is all about books and tea and lovely florals that I think are the perfect transition from summer to fall. And one of my favorite things that we've done as far as stamp sets, and this turned out really, really cute, is a build your own tea bag stamp set. And so I'm going to start right out. I'm going to show you how to do this because there are some separate pieces and parts in here and you may not quite understand how they work together. So we're going to build one together a minute and then I'll show you a few examples of these finished as well as the other stamp sets. So this one is part of the scrapbooking kit. And as it stands right now, we still have some subscriptions available for the scrapbooking kit. The 4x6 stamp set, I believe, is sold out. And you never know, after shipping, there may be a few left over that will pop up. But if you're loving this, this is part of the scrapbooking kit. I would grab this because it's super adorable. So you have a couple pieces and parts in here. You have your tea bag, you have your little tag, you have your string, you have the little attachment for the top of the tea bag. You have this, which would actually be the tea in the tea bag, and you can stamp that in any color you want. I've done it before where I've stamped this on a scrap piece of paper and then used it to trace around and cut out patterns, which is real fun, and I'll show you that. And then you have different little labels for in your tag. And then there's a couple of little, a sip of comfort and just relax. You can just add those. You can even add those layered in on the tag or on the tea bag itself. And then there's a tiny little staple. I don't want you to miss that. That is on there as well. So let's finish building this one. And I've already stamped the outline. Now I'm going to go in and I'm going to stamp the tea, and we're going to do it in this kind of pretty rusty color. So you can see that just kind of goes right in there in the middle. Super cute. And then I'm going to add the little top of the tea bag there. That is kind of like the little paper that they attach the string with. And I'm just kind of doing it in kind of a beige color or a tan color on there. And then I'm going to do the string. And the cool thing about this string is you can change. So you can see here I've got this kind of going way off. I'm going to do it a little tighter next to the tea bag on here. The other option you have is to not use this stamp, but to actually doodle the string wherever you want. You could do that. You could also use, in the scrapbooking kit, there is a stitching template that you could use, and you could actually stitch the string on there as well. So you have those options. I love the idea of being able to doodle because you can make that string as long as you want. It would be really, really fun. But this one, now when you have a thin line like this, just a little kind of heads up, you don't need to push hard. Do not wiggle it, or it will come out thick and thin and kind of almost smeared looking. So you just lay it down and pick it up. You don't, whenever you have a thin line like that, you don't want to push real hard. And here is that tiny little staple. You want to be careful with that one that you don't lose it. And again, same idea. And in fact, I'm going to show you what I mean. If I push down hard, see how thick that is? You don't want that thick. You want it just a simple little kiss, I guess is the best way to put it. So we're going to stamp it. We're just going to go down, kiss, and lift up. And you can see the difference. So it doesn't take a lot of pressure when you have thinner lines like that. And then I'm going to take the little tea bag and we're going to line that up right there. Now, if you wanted to, you could push this up a little bit on the line and add a staple on this as well. That's an option. You can always do that. And then I love this one. It's the Afternoon Society. I'm going to do this in a pretty kind of navy. And then we're just going to add that in our little label. How cute is that? How fun. Easy, easy, easy peasy. So let me show you, well, actually what I'll do, I'm going to show you the rest of what we have going on here, and I will share with you the inks that I used. But that was super simple. And I love the fact you can add these. They're great for bullet journaling because they look kind of like a doodle. I actually did doodle some, but you can do that. You can cut them out and use them as a die cut. I did that as well. But let's take a peek at what else we have. So we have this one. This is the 3x4 that is part of the scrapbooking kit. We went old school in the stationery kit and did this adorable little wooden stamp. It's a rubber stamp with the little tea mug and the little flowers on it. I love that. Have fun going old school. And then this is the 4x6 stamp subscription stamp set. And this has the days of the week. It has the numbers and then these flowers. So I'm going to show you kind of what we have going on here. The thing I want to make sure and mention, this font, so these words, these numbers, this is the same font that was in the alpha set last month. So the Bumble alpha set that was in August, which is sold out. If you got this, this is the same font. So that's what I love about this. So they work together. So now you have a number set and you have the days of the week. So you have both of those. Let's take a look at the colors that I used. I used Matcha. These are from the Stamp Market Sage. The Dijon is really pretty rusty. I used my trusty black VersaFine. And then Fern works well as also is a nice color with this collection. And then these Shichihara. I don't know how to pronounce this. I'm sorry. I'm probably butchering that. I used, and they don't really have names, or maybe they do, and I just can't read them. There's this pretty kind of sand color, a navy, and a light blue. I used those as well. These we do not have in the store, but the Stamp Markets we do. There's also, in the store, we have a couple of Distress Oxides, and the Dried Marigold and the Rusty Hinge would work really well with this collection too. Okay, so let me show you a couple of other examples that I did with the tea bags. There's some fun things you can do. So, and here is an example where I stamped them and I used them to show or record my stamping ink colors. So that's a fun way to just have a swatch of those if you want. Now these, I did not use this center part. I just did this with my fountain ink. So again, it's another way to make fun swatches. And as you can see here, I did not use the string stamp. I just doodled that myself. And that's what I was talking about is really, really fun, is then you can kind of make it fit the page and make them longer and swoop wherever you want. You can kind of have that cut behind them, which is really fun too. The other thing that you can do is, as I mentioned, you can turn it into a die cut. And this, I actually stapled real string onto it, and it gives it even more dimension. This I traced on a piece of pattern paper and cut it out for the T inside. So again, another way to use that and make it even more dimensional. And then I did, this is an example. Now these I doodled. These are my doodles. But I wanted to show you how I used some of the vellum paper from the journaling kit. So there's cardstock on here, there's stickers, there's vellum stickers, and I cut those out just kind of more random shaped to fit in the tea bag. That's an option that you can do as well. All right, now I want to show you this stamp set. Oh, and I forgot. There's also, oh, here it is. There is a distress stamp. This is from the deluxe journaling kit. And it's this really fun kind of background distress. I love that you can layer this behind stuff. I wouldn't use it. I mean, you could kind of write on the lines if you wanted to, but I feel like it's just kind of more of a background stamp. You can see where I stamped it real light behind this one. I stamped it a little bit darker here and used our cute little wooden stamp with it. So you could kind of do either or, but I feel like it's just really fun to kind of layer behind stuff. So let's talk about this. So you have the numbers, and obviously you can use numbers as dates. You can use them in memory keeping, or if you do lists in your journaling, they work great for that. But then the days of the week, we did these in such a way that they're really fun to stack or build upon. So you have the sun, Mon, Tues, Wednes, Thurs, Fri, Sat, and Sun, and then day. So you can stack them like this, the Friday, Tuesday, or you can lay them out straight. So it gives you the option depending on how you want to set them up in your planner, or in your journaling, or even on a memory keeping layout. I will mention things like the Wednesday. You can, if you're careful, when you ink it, you can do that as a 3-way stack, not a 2-way. So if you have the Wednesday, what you want to do, and I'll try to do this, usually I gotta get my head right over it, but if you can either put a piece of washi tape on that part that you don't want to ink, or you can very carefully off the edge do that, and you're not getting any on the NES. So you can see where I did just the WED. And then you would stamp the other side the same way. So you can do that, and you end up with, let me show you my example. You end up with it stacked like that. And so that's just another way you can do it. You can do it with the full Wens, and then the Wednes, and then the day, it's hard to say them, broke up. And then I stacked the plans next to it. Here you can see the Sunday chill. So that's the other thing, is we have these other little words in here that you can add. So there's the hello, the chill, and the plans. So you can see where I've done that here. I've kind of stacked them in a couple of different ways. You can use those words just on their own, like I did there, and then just kind of surrounded them with the flowers. But see, so here you can see where I did a whole set like that. I also used that fun little distress stamp at the bottom, just again to kind of give that some texture and another layer, which is really nice. And then you can go in and you can build these fun florals all around them. Obviously, you can use the florals on their own, like I did here. But the intent was kind of to be able to use them with the numbers and the days of the week and kind of create this whole beautiful little setup. And you can see where I did that here, where I layered the flowers behind the date and then added the day of the week and then the word plans. Here's just a little bit of a flower, just a few little things. And then the little mug is really cute on its own. I could totally see cutting that out and using that as a little die cut. It works really well with this set. The other thing that you could do is you could use it to highlight a special part of your to-do list if you wanted to. So if you have a regular list and then you have this almost like a bullet point, or just kind of call attention to, you could layer that on a sticker if you wanted to. But I think it's really, really cute. It's also just cute if you do tracking of anything, or if you're going to, like I'm doing with Zach, we're going to different coffee shops, and you're keeping kind of a journal of the coffee shops, or if you like to track what different kinds of teas you drink, that would be cute for that. The other thing you could do is you could use this along with this set, and it would be really cute too. So a number of fun ideas. I don't have a ton of examples because it's kind of self-explanatory what you can do with these, but I've kind of shown you a few ideas of how you can layer those, and then of course how to build the tea bag. I would love to see what you guys end up doing with this. I think this can be so much fun. I also think you could make some really fun, if you stamped these on some tags or turned these into tags for little gifts. How fun would that be? That would be really, really cute. But yeah, so that is it for the stamp sets from the Chapters of September collection. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you're enjoying, what you're liking. If you have any questions, I love to read those. Make sure you hit like, share, subscribe, ring the bell, do all of that. Let people know about Cocoa Daisy, and we will see you next month.